always going to be your best bet. But I will share a little tidbit there. In this business, how you have lived your life to this point will either hurt you or help you with respect to getting a quick start making sales of Renatus's educational services. It's either going to help you or it's going to hurt you based on how you've lived your life. If you've lived your life honorably, you're a hardworking individual, you're well respected in the community, you've got great family friendship relationships, they admire and respect and trust you, then it's going to be very easy for you to introduce Renatus to those individuals and have them go, hey, if you're doing it, I want to be on board too. That's the reason why we've got folks who jump in here and inside of 48 to 72 hours will get 5-star qualified. On the other hand, if we've got individuals who, well, okay, maybe they've lived their life a little bit differently. They've lived their life a little bit more reclusive and not out there, building those relationships and putting that kind of effort and energy into folks. Maybe they're running in a circle of friends that isn't, I should say, the best candidates for a business or an entrepreneurial venture. If that's the case, then you may need to move beyond that group and start 3-foot contacting and networking and advertising and using different guerrilla marketing tactics to generate leads and generate interest. You can still get the job done, it just takes a little longer. That's all it is. Wherever you start is not as important as where you finish. So when you think about the numbers game, if you're not getting the results you want today based on the numbers that you're going through, well, then you've got to just get better. Renatus is a process of becoming. It's all about you becoming a better you becoming a better investor, you becoming a better business owner, you becoming a better marketer. All about the process of becoming. Dedicate yourself to personal development, personal improvement. And like I said before, it is a numbers game, but the numbers are not all the same for everybody. So as you get better, your leads will get better.
Awesome. As you get better, your leads get better. So welcome to the call, everyone. Quote of the day. You guys saw it. If you, where'd it go? That's not the quote. Look at all those wonderful people. So you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, you build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Yeah, like Mr. Fuller. So everyone, remember we have Leaders Retreat coming up August 20th through the 24th in Cabo. I'm looking forward to that. Check in your office for how to qualify to be a part of that Leaders Retreat. Make the push. We have the Renatus Founders live every Monday, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This is the number one most important meeting to make. Don't miss it. This is the perfect opportunity for you to plug in with Bob and for Bob to update us and for us to get great trainings and be reinvigorated by the community's hard work. So yeah, there's 3 kind of people in the world: people that make it happen, people that watch what happened, and people who wonder. Which group are you in? So, the national study groups also are on Monday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Um, right now, we just got done with, if anyone knows, what did we just get done with in the study group? Anyhow, we're moving through the essentials.
And legal.
Tax and legal?
Yep.
Awesome, thank you. So yeah, tax and legal. Plug into that. We also have the app, y'all, the Helios app. That's where we watch the Money Mastery videos. Download the app. You can send the app to your guests, to potential people that want to be part of the community. And you have a special code that you get to send with them so they are automatically connected to you in the Helios system. So Bob spent a bunch of money on that app. They developed it just for us. So take advantage of all the awesome tools that Bob and the team at Renatus have there provided for us. Daily and weekly support we have. You guys remember, plug in to the weekly private Capital Master class. This is for AIT students only with Daine on Thursdays. Daine's on the line today. So you kind of get a little taste of what we get to do in that master class. Powerful stuff. Also, right after this call, we have the dream call, the daily real estate action mastermind call from 9 to about 9:45. You got to be a student, be on the business builder, the OES, the optional event subscription, and you can get into either of those. Also, we have the daily team calls that you're on right now. More people hop on the dream calls. Jared is in there. Michael's in there. There's a bunch of heavy hitters in there. Tamara, people, just Gilda in there dropping gems. And we're going over deals and challenges and stuff that we got going on. So, yeah, make it on the dream calls, y'all. And this is how you do it. Go to OES and get your subscription. Also, Tuesday nights, there's a Profits intro with Scott Rowe, the fearless leader, Scott Rowe. So Scott is straight to the point with what he's letting people know about, and I highly encourage you to get people in front of Scott. He knows how to show the, illustrate the vision of Renatus. All right, Wednesday nights, we have our property tour, house tour in English, 7 p.m. That's happening tonight. Get yourself and your guests on that call, on that tour. On Thursdays, we have a bunch of events for anybody that doesn't already know all the things that you can plug into. This is some more of the stuff that the OES allows you access to. There's a Spanish property house tour on Thursdays. That's real fun. Pillars of Wealth, Velocity Banking with Richie. Get into these places. Get your guests into these places. Remember, we got to work on ourselves stronger and harder than we work on anything else. So training calls, all these training calls you can find recorded and streaming. So we're live streamed in the Renatus Team Elevate group right now. The video should also be posted there after this, so you can go back and watch the replay in that Facebook group, and also on YouTube, Elevate Renatus YouTube channel. And there's 4 or 5 years of training videos, a treasure trove of gifts. All right, so now we are going to do our money mastermind exercise. Are you guys ready? If you're ready, say yeah. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, money mastermind. Let's check it out.
This man had a chance encounter that changed his life and ours. Would you have made the same decisions? This billionaire supports over 24 kidnapped girls by paying for their higher education. Robert F. Smith is the 54-year-old founder of the private equity firm Vista Equity Partners. In the 16 years since that time, Vista has grown to over $14 billion in assets and generated insane returns for its investors. In 2015, Vista was named the world's #1 performing private equity firm. Suffice it to say, he's proven the tenacity of his mindset with his success. The fund's success is all in Smith's strategy. Unlike other Silicon Valley investors who look to fund the next hot startup, Smith takes a decidedly utilitarian approach to investing. He seeks out software and technology companies that aren't at all flashy. His net worth of $2.5 billion makes him one of the wealthiest Americans. It also makes him the second wealthiest African American behind Oprah Winfrey. He's been making the news lately. He was on the cover of Forbes magazine's Richest Americans issue. He donated $20 million to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and now he's taken on another cause that shows how strong his mindset is. Smith has offered to pay for the education of 24 girls from the Chibok community, including the 21 who escaped from their captivity by Nigeria's militant Islamist group, the Boko Haram. The girls will enroll at the American University of Nigeria, AUN, a prestigious institution. Smith will pay the entire bill for the girls' tuition, room and board, and other related expenses. This will run Smith anywhere from $5,000 to $11,000 per year per student. Smith has also offered to send any other girls who are set free from their kidnapping by the Boko Haram to college at AUN as well. Robert F. Smith is a successful entrepreneur, billions in the bank, and the world at his feet. Instead of insulating himself in his world of privilege, he's going out and changing the lives of these young women who were captured by the Boko Haram. He has an amazing mindset, and because of that, he's bringing hope to young women in the worst of circumstances. Call to action. Mindset. Take 12 minutes right now to make a plan to help someone else, a family member, a friend, a cause that is important to you. Get out and get active and give back in ways that you can.
All right, let's do about 2 minutes. It's crazy. Robert Smith is from my town, where I'm from. So it's interesting that we played that video today. Anyway, all right, take about 2 minutes and write down your thoughts, and then we're gonna get into Daine Clark. Make that plan to go help somebody. Feel free to share your plans in the chat. All right, about 25 more seconds. All righty. So our trainer for today is the one and only Mr. Daine Clark. So, you guys, Daine is an incredible dude, y'all. He let me show you his picture. Let me show you this guy's picture. There he is. So Daine started out his investor journey working in the back of the the Apple store, because he had scared of people syndrome, is what he called it. Scared to talk to people, sitting in the back of the store, and also he worked at as a roofer for his father's with his father, and you know, working the 9 to 5 grind. His sweetheart had to ask him for his phone, or if he was going to ask for her phone number. So since then, Daine has been able to really come out of his shell. Daine has raised over and put to use over $20 million in real estate so far. He talks to people every day, spreading this mission of empowering ourselves through financial literacy, real estate investing, wealth building, generational wealth building. Daine has done over 100 deals. He's a wealth of knowledge at this point, and an incredible leader in the community. I'm always excited to hop on this Wednesday call because of the gems that Daine drops. So everybody, get out your pad and your pen. Get ready to take copious amounts of notes. And without further ado, Daine, are you here with us?
What's up, brother?
Hey, brother.
Oh, thank you for that intro. You're the man. You're so kind. But welcome, everybody, and happy Wealth Wednesday. Good morning. Excited to be here. Excited to live another day. Wealth Wednesday. Let's do this. So first of all, anybody want to share? In fact, I think I saw some of the comments. Some people said that what they're going to do. Anybody want to come off of mute and share?
I'll share.
What they're going to do? Yeah. What's up? Go ahead. Let me make sure I pronounce this right.
Drakkar.
Drakkar.
Like the cologne, Drakkar.
Perfect. Go ahead, brother.
So so what I have been trying to do, and actually I'm pursuing it already, is to help local children in the area to find financial literacy. I've been teaching my son. I created somewhat of a curriculum to kind of help them understand money, things like that. I actually presented it to my son's daycare teacher. She really liked it. So I'm going to start with a program in the area where I kind of teach them by doing fun things, games and things like that as well. And kind of just getting, basic, my son's 3. So kind of start at that range and kind of go up. I also have a daughter that's 11 going on 12. So kind of in that range of just teaching them the basics about money and understanding. And, from there, from teaching them the things that I know and that I'm learning every day with you all. So
I love it, man. That's awesome. And you know what? If I may speak to that for just a minute, I feel like some of the biggest development moments were when I was making a program, you said, where I was I got muted there. Where I was putting together a program, I was putting together a training. I obligated myself to teach somebody else, and I had to put it together. And I got to tell you, when I put myself in that creative space was when things started to really take off. Even though I didn't even feel like I was qualified, I was still putting stuff like that together. And so, dude, my hat goes off to you, man. I would dare venture to say that you're following in my footsteps. You're following in the footsteps of the people that are more successful than myself. And it's a mindset like that that's going to help your life continue to take off. That's so cool, man. Good for you. Never stop, even if you feel like you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it, or if it's not reaching anybody, somebody's listening. In fact, quick story on that too. I just had somebody reach out to me, I think 2 weeks ago, and said, Daine, I've been following you on Facebook. I might have told this story actually. I've been following you on Facebook, and I never like your stuff. I never comment on your stuff, but I've been following you for years. And I got to tell you, like, I whatever it is that you have, I need that. I don't care how much it costs. I need what it is that you have. And what he's like, I know there's money involved. I know there's money involved, but whatever it takes. And in fact, I'm meeting with him tonight for the first time. And so do it, man. Thank you, Jakar, for sharing, brother. Let's see. Anybody else? One more person, if you'd like to jump on. Let's see, Jen. I know there are other deadlines right now. I'm teaching my children. Yeah, great job.
Just reporting back from what I learned from you last week. I've joined a couple meetups.
Yes.
And yesterday I started looking for a volunteering opportunity that would allow me to go and network more with local people that are actually doing stuff. So I'm looking at different opportunities. I think I saw one for fundraising for the firefighters. So I might volunteer to do that so I can learn the arts and skills of fundraising.
Dude, firefighters make great real estate investors too, because they work what, 2 days on, or 2 days on, 3 days on, and the rest of the week off. It's perfect. The perfect real estate investor lifestyle and job hybrid, if you will. So that's awesome, man. Yeah, get in with the firefighters. In fact, in that note, I just went to a networking meeting, in fact, a week ago, last Wednesday. And this was one that was paid. And I think I talked about that last week. I can't remember. This was one that was paid. I think I paid like $200 to be there. And I noticed that everybody else there that had also paid $200 to be in that room, they were very qualified people, right? It was $200 for like 4 hours, and they did serve dinner, but if you want to, if you want to look at marketing dollars, that is how you're going to get in front of qualified people. And so, yes, I think I got 4, 5, maybe 6 leads out of that for, again, qualified people that are just, one of them was a business owner. And this is his exact conversation with me. It was super cool. But he says, I ask what he does. He's asked what I do. He's a business owner. He's a fabrication, basically a welder, and he owns his own company. He's got some employees, and he's like, Daine, I feel like I'm not challenged anymore. I want to get into real estate. And he's like, the business is doing its thing. And I want to spend my time getting into real estate. And I was just like, really? He's like, yeah, I want to put time and money, and I want to put resources into real estate. So that way, I've got some passive income, and I've got my income from the business. And I was just like, dude, we should talk, man. I would love to help and see if I can do something with that. And he's like thanking me that I gave him my number. Because again, he also paid the $200. It was like $197 to be in that room. And so I think he just inherently knew that I was a successful guy. And when I said real estate, he's just like, cool, well, you're here. You want real estate? I want real estate. I'm going to talk to you. So awesome stuff. Let's see. Cool. Covington. All right. Okay, well, let's go ahead and jump into accountability. Tell me, guys. Let's see. We got 89 people on the line. I want to see 89 comments in the next 30 seconds. Just flood them in. How many conversations did you have in the last 7 days? Tell me how many people you talked to. Tell me how many people you did a one-on-one with. Tell me how many people you, got to an intro. Let's see. Did we have I know we didn't have an intensive this weekend. Tell me, oh man, what else is going on? Yeah, thank you. Look at all these. Bam. Yeah, flood them in. Bring them on. 89 comments in the next 30 seconds. Bam, bam, bam. Go. Yeah, good job, guys. Keep them coming. Ooh, I better count my own. All right. Let's see. Myself, I had 1, 2, 4. Thank you. 4, 5, 6. Cool. I had 6. I count my one-on-ones personally because as you guys know, I've turned this into a lifestyle. Kind of like Mike said, I've turned this into a lifestyle where I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care how we met. I'm going to talk about real estate one way or another, somehow, somewhere. But yeah, so I count my one-on-ones, and my one-on-ones, I usually count that as like an hour-long conversation where I'm like pitching something. I'm like, hey, here's the plan. You want to do business together at the end of the conversation? So look at this. Oh man, I got to scroll way up. Keep them coming, guys. I don't think there's 89 there. But Bruce had 1, Jakar had 8, Charles had 3, Gilda had 5, Laura 8, Mike 2, Robert 2, no one-on-ones, 3 property tour show ups. Nice. Doris had 2, Jen had 3, Lorene had 2, Seth had a goose egg this week. Daniel had 4, Doug had 1, Louise had 2, Eric had 2, Miriam had 3, Amy had 3, Maurice had a goose egg. Thanks for being honest as well. Judy Howe had 2, Miri had 4, 2 property tours. Let's see, Nina had 8, working on closing working on a close on one-on-one. Oh, on 1 cat. Awesome. Yes, great job. Jerry had 2, James Lee's 19 guests, 5 one-on-ones. Doug Cook had 1. Great job, brother. Me, oh, that's me. Me had 1, had 6 one-on-ones. Deborah got my first ICM, 2 to nationals and a private money conversation. Awesome. Steve hadn't had any one-on-ones, but building for events now. Esther Hahn had 5 guests, 2 upgraded to epics. Oh yes, is today the last day? Today's the last day. If people upgrade to their epics, they're going to go hang out with Bob Snyder in his 12,000 square foot cabin. I think it's something like that, 10,000, 12,000. I don't know. Once you get past like 6,000 or 7,000, it's just a lot to me. But there's a gun range in this thing that people are coming to. I mean, I don't know if Bob will let everybody use it because there might be a safety hazard if there's 100 people with guns down there. But I mean, this thing is a monstrosity. Super, super cool. So yeah, today's the last day. Get your epics combo. I know I've got some of my students going. And let's see, great job, Esther. Oh, 2 upgrading to epics. Yeah, let them know that they get to go. Tell them to get in today. Carla, 10 101s. Nice. 3 people to the intros, 6 people to property tours. Bobby Johnson, 4 new, 3 people in credit repair and 1 in funding. Russ had 3. Amy had 3. 4 tonight. Great job. Maximiliano, 13 conversations, 6 to a house tour. Sylvia had a goose egg. Thanks for being honest. Karen Fournier, 6 intros, 2 close to closing. Nice. Daine, what was the dinner event? It was it was one of those like personal development type things, but it was more towards business owners. And so really like they were teaching on how to have a balanced life as an entrepreneur, because usually entrepreneurs don't have a balanced life. And they were also teaching about building a fund and how like they were actually, they were selling something, which a lot of them are. But then they were selling how to go raise all the money you need. And they were selling a teaching course, basically something you can buy around raising money with a fund. And and I thought it was interesting that that's all they were teaching on. It wasn't like, it was like, hey, you go pick what you're going to make money on. You go pick what you're going to put the money toward, business or real estate or whatever, but I'll teach you how to get a fund, how to create the fund. So it was interesting. Good information, sure. But yeah, that's what it was that I went to. Again, no real estate specifically. I just showed up to be the resident real estate expert at the end of the day. And it worked. So Andy had 1, Regina had 2, Ben Regina has essentials, if you want to upgrade, got my epics, great job, Sandra, 2 ICMs. So close. Nancy said they're close to the limit. Ooh, yeah, maybe double check with that. Laura, upgrade to her epics, nice job. I upgraded to epics. Nice. Look at all these people going to hang out with Bob. I'm a little jealous. I wish I could go with you guys. I bought my epics combo the day it came out though, so I'm disqualified, but oh well. Happy for you. Very happy for you. It's going to be awesome. Numbers game. So let's see. Oh, Celeste, 1 great combo. Looking to close the deal today. James, way to go. Great example. It's a numbers game. I upgraded to epics. Man, look at you guys. Robert, just a reminder about the REID courses that you went through. I asked about last week. Robert, remind me what you're talking about. Reminder about the REID courses that you went through that I asked about last week. For some reason, my brain is
Remember, I said, what are the courses you went through? Because we have the same investor ID.
Oh, yes, that's right. All right. And I actually got this all ready. I got this all ready for you guys. I just need to give me 1 second while we do that. And then somebody else had a question too. I'm gonna see if I can do 2 things at once. And let's give that a try. Daine, would you mind repeating the 3 questions that you asked prospects after you asked them if they had thought about investing in real estate? So question number 1 is, how long have you been interested in getting into real estate investing? I love that question. Let me share with you why. Because it's going to gauge how, it's going to help me gauge either how excited they are about getting into real estate investing today, or has this been like a long drawn out thing that they're finally like, I should do that, right? Remember, if you guys remember that thermometer where I'm just trying to gauge where they are thermometer wise. And at the end of the day, if I know, like, for example, let's say somebody says, oh, I've been interested in it for years and years and years. Immediately, I'm going to be thinking like, all right, why now? What's going on right now that has changed everything? And so, sorry guys, let me get some of this. Not sure why. Oh, there we go. Class schedule and copy 2. Let's see, where is it? Template master sheet. There it is. All right. So if everybody goes to, and let me just make sure that this worked. If you guys want to see my own journey, see, how do I get back to Zoom? There it is. All right, here's the chat. If you go to daineclark.com/tracker, and somebody confirmed that is working, that link is live. If you go there, and let me share my screen so you can see what you'll be looking at here. If you go to, let's see, template. Right there. Okay, it will take you to this. Now you will have to essentially, let's see, I think it says use template or something like that, where you can download the template and it'll take you to this. And the one that I just added, in fact, here, let me rename it for you guys. Rename. I'm gonna say Daine's class schedule. And so there's a tool in here, and I think I shared this with you guys. Every time I build a tool for me, I actually create a template for everybody. And so whenever I do that, I just load a bunch of things in here. Like I feel like almost everyone, I should say, that I talk to is like, oh, I want to flip a house. And so I usually just have this template in here that's, hey, this one's around flipping houses. Here's all the stuff that I would suggest, that Renatus would suggest if you want to go flip houses. Here's all your phase 1, AKA essentials classes. Here's all your phase 2, AKA AIT classes. And you know, could probably add some profit stuff in here, but yeah, that's when, I mean, you got to go make $1, and then we're talking about scale and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so here's this template, if you will. Now it's all changeable. You could change it all kinds. But if you want to see my class schedule, here's my own. And so you can see what I have been interested in here. Like here, let me go like this because I want to see your smiling faces. Okay, so I bought Renatus in November of 2015. You'll notice I didn't watch any classes, and I did watch one class in December because I was in the middle of a semester at college and working. And so between work and college, I did not open Renatus until late December. So I watched one class in December of 2015, and then I busted it out mostly in January. And they did have this update there. This one no longer exists though. They actually updated the classes a month or two ago. And so this one doesn't even exist anymore. But here's what I did. You can see I busted my essentials out in January. I almost took the entire month off. and I didn't have school that month either. And then I busted through a bunch of these classes the next year in February, you can see, and then I've done stuff like here. This one just came out, and so I watched this class last year, and here's some. I was interested in commercial or multifamily for a minute, and I started watching some of that stuff. And in fact, I started watching this class, and then I didn't. I started watching the seller finance stuff and was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is me. When I started watching all the seller finance, the contract for deed stuff, I mean, you can see September of 2020 was when I finally finished the contract for deed class. And now I have 9 of them or 10 of them, something like that, 9 or 10 contract for deed properties that people are just paying me every month. In fact, it's already started. A couple of people paid early. I would have to do the math, but I would dare guess that what hits my bank account every first of the month is like $18,000 from all these these 9 or 10 contract for deeds that I picked up since, let's see, the first one was October last year. And so you'll notice that every time I had a big bump in my business, it was because I was watching classes and then going and taking action. In other words, having conversations. All right, so that is my personal story, if you will, of what I have watched in Renatus. And I keep myself 100% accountable. And so you'll notice that if you ever go back to this, daineclark.com/tracker, if I'm watching more classes, which right now I'm actually very interested in, this advanced velocity banking. I really need to go through this contracts class. I've heard it's very, very good, and it's a newer one that has just came out. I leave this in there because I want people to see that I was interested, and I watched a few classes and I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. It just doesn't feel like my personality. And so I leave that there because I want people to see that. And then here was my most recent interest, and was like, yes, please. Let's go through that. So yeah, you guys can see that. And if I watch more classes, you'll see that update, that live. And so 100% accountability for me, if you guys want to see that. And so
Daine, I have a quick question. When we actually download this tracker, are we going to have access to everything you showed us today?
What do you mean?
I mean, do we get to actually see your history?
Yes. Yeah. So if you go to daineclark.com/tracker, in fact, here, I'm going to move this template over.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's see. Oops. Yeah, right there. So if you go to that daineclark.com, you're actually going to see exactly what I see right now. And it's updated in real time. And let's see, the one is called Daine's class schedule. And so if you go to that tab, then you're going to see this.
Thank you. I hadn't noticed all the tabs, so I'm so glad I saw this today. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's see. All right, my 3 questions, friend. Thank you for bringing me back on task. All right, so 1, how long? 2 is, what have you tried? Because then again, based on the temperature gauge here, or the, what do they call that? Temperature gauge, the thermometer. Based on their thermometer, I want to see how long, but I also want to see, so what have you already tried? Because some people are going to say, oh, I bought a rental and it wasn't that great. I want to know about stuff like that. Or they'll be like, you know what, never tried anything. This is my first attempt, right? I want to know stuff like that. And from that one, so let's see, how long, what have you tried? Here's my favorite one. I just added this question maybe 2 or 3 months ago. In fact, I told you guys about it when I first started. And it was, and here it is, what have you been doing to prepare to get into real estate investing? Again, shares with me their thermometer. And sometimes I'll even tell them like, hey, there's like, I feel like there's like a thermometer where people go from like, oh yeah, I should, and they begin with should. I should look into real estate investing, and then it goes a little higher, like, I need to get into real estate investing, and it goes a little higher, and it's like, I have to get into real estate investing. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get into. And right, everybody, you guys are laughing. Everybody on the call knows what that feels like, right? That was the day we bought Renatus, because it's like, I don't care, I'm doing it. And so yes, how long? What have you tried? What are you doing to prepare? Right? I don't always ask the thermometer. I don't always use the thermometer analogy, but sometimes I have. Right? If they're like, Daine, why are you asking me all this kind of stuff? I say, I just want to know. I want to know where you're at. Everyone and then I go through everyone I've talked to. I feel like they go through this process, and I want to figure out where you are, because I went through this process. Right? I love saying it that way too. I went through that process where I remember I should get into this. I need to get into this. And then it was just like, I'm doing this. And a lot of you guys have heard my story where I went home to my pregnant wife, my 6-month pregnant wife, and said, honey, I'm going to buy a rental property. And she's like, do whatever you need to do. I'm having a baby in 3 months. and that was it. So let's see, you asked, you asked also for the why now. Do you ask it for, do you ask it, or is it for yourself? I usually will get that through. So Judy asked, why, the why now, like why now real estate investing? Usually I will get that through these 3 questions. If you don't feel like you got that, then yeah, ask a blunt question like that. Why now? What changed, right? And then again, you get these stories. And if you can go, the thing I love about hearing other people's stories is you can go back to it. And most of the time, you will remember their story. You will remember the story that they shared with you, because our brains are just wired for stuff like that, right? We remember stories. We don't remember details as much. At least I don't. And somebody once told me that that's like a human nature thing. And so I believed them. But yeah, get their story, because then you refer back to it as you're talking to them, let's say you invite them to a meeting. You're like, oh, your story, based on what you're telling, based on that, I think you would love this. And then it feels like it's custom. It feels like you are customizing their experience, which you are, and you should, and they are going to love you for it. Okay, so let's see, what have you done to prepare? And then from there, I like going into either picking passive or active. I don't, so some of those of you who have seen like the huge scale that I talk about, where it's like, be the bank, seller financing, rentals with a property manager, rentals without a property manager. Let's see, what's the other one? So it's not short-term rental properties, land development, fix and flips with the contractor, fix and flips, doing it yourself, and then move-in guy. And I always love that one just because it's funny. But the move-in guy that does everything himself and moves in and tears that property apart. And so I'll go into that. I don't go into that actually. Sorry. I don't go into that. I basically say, so where do you feel like you want to be, passive or active? Right. And then if they don't know what I'm talking about, I say passive is like, you need like X amount of dollars, $50,000, $100,000. Sit back, twiddle your thumbs, have people present deals to you. Or do you want to be more active? Do you want to go find it? Do you want to go analyze it? Do you want to go make offers? Do you want to go negotiate? Okay. And so, yes, let me answer some of these questions. If you present these questions through a text message, when do you do? Oh, I never text these ever. Like zero times. Yep, 0 times have I ever asked these questions over a text. Nada. I want them to feel this. I want them to feel the emotion that I have right now that I'm sharing with you guys. And yeah, I'm not quite as animated on the calls. I just do this because I try, I want people to crack a smile every once in a while. And so I, try to be as animated as I can, sure. And it's easier to listen to, at least for me, when people are more animated. But yeah, I want them to feel my emotion towards real estate investing and these questions that I'm asking them. I want them to feel that I care about them as I'm asking these questions. And so I've done it 0 times over text message. Literally none. Because every time I've tried, it's there's no connection. Anyway, okay, so let's see. DaineClark.com, send me to your LinkedIn. Yes. Yeah, if you just go to straight DaineClark.com, I don't have a website. I don't need a website. I am a website. And so if anybody goes to DaineClark.com, it just goes straight to my LinkedIn page. And they can check me out there. I do update all my, credibility stuff, right? And anything that somebody would want to know on a website, I put in my LinkedIn, closed all these deals, did all this, been doing this for this many years, helped this many people, bought this much real estate, whatever. But yeah, if you /tracker, then you're going to get to the thing that I'm sharing on the screen right now. And yeah, no space. Perfect. Cool. Oh my gosh, we're 8:49. Let's have one person come out and ask another question. Somebody that has maybe a story. Anybody have a story that they're just like, Daine, this story, this experience, this conversation left me deer in the headlights. And I need some help. If I can get somebody to come off of mute, this is one of my favorite things to do. Live mentoring in the flesh, where you and I will have a conversation.
Yeah, I have a quick question, Daine.
Yes, go ahead, brother.
This one's probably easy to overcome, but I couldn't seem to overcome it. This guy kept telling me that he wanted it, but he needed to talk to his wife. I'm like, well, has your wife seen the information? He's like, yeah, she's seen it. And I'm like, and he said he wanted to invest in himself. And he says that I want to talk to his wife. And I couldn't get him off of that. So I was like, okay, go talk to your wife and we'll talk later. And then of course he come back and said, I don't want it right now.
Yes. So I hate that one, but at the same time, I love it. And here's why. And this is the only reason I love it. If I can get in front of wife, that is when it's game on, because then I can ask a question like, let's just throw some names, Jim and Jane. I can say, Jane, why would you want this for Jim? Right in front of him, right? If I can get them both together, then I can get them to have a real conversation. Because I'm married, I know what this is like. I came home from the first Renatus meeting and said, honey, I think I might spend $20,000. She's pregnant 6 months with our first baby. I'm making $20,000 a year. I think it was 24. I'm making $24,000 a year. And I'm like, honey, I think I'm gonna spend 20 grand and buy some real estate stuff. And she's just like, huh? She looks at her belly, starting to get all big at that moment. And she's just like, are you crazy? I'm gonna have a baby in 3 months and I'm quitting my job. And you want to go spend $20,000 that we don't have? I did that. And so I try to save people from that conversation. And you're welcome to use that story if you want. If you have somebody that's like that, you'd be like, hey dude, one of the guys that has really, you can tell my story. One of the guys that had killed it, same thing happened to him. And so then luckily I got my wife to still come down and come to a meeting though. And she got to see it for herself. She got to rub shoulders with the people, right? She didn't just see the information. She didn't just watch a video. She actually met some of the people herself, asked them questions. And it was funny though, because of my shy nature, kind of like Mike said at the beginning, because of my very shy nature, I actually started getting cold feet. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know. I actually went through Get Funded Online, and I told them, never mind. I actually told them like, nah, don't go get credit cards for me. And they told me, oh yeah, we think we can get this for you. And I was like, nah, don't do it. I don't want to do it. And it was after that, we went to another meeting, and my wife turns to me and says, Daine, you are doing this. And that's final. So I called Credit Nerds back and I said, run it. Give me some credit cards. And it was, you know, and I kicked myself for this, but I just got to tell this story because my mindset was this big when I first bought Renatus. But I said, oh, how much am I spending? 20,000. Don't get me more than $25,000 in credit cards. Shot myself in the foot by saying that. I should have said, just get me as much as you'll give me, because my credit wouldn't have tanked as hard after I put $20,000 on credit cards with a $25,000 limit. I was like 90% or something like that utilization for that first year. But you know, you live and you learn. And at least I got started at the end of the day. I'm so glad I did. In fact, you guys are making me want to call the person that invited me to the first Renatus meeting and say, dude, thank you. He's not even in Renatus anymore, but call him up and be like, dude, thank you for getting me involved, for showing me what's possible. Yeah, sure, I did it. And every time I tell him thank you, he's like, dude, you did it. And I say, I know, but you said, Daine, you should check this out. And I did, and it worked. And I'm so glad, so grateful. But yes, Charles, does that answer your question? Sorry, I'm a little long-winded.
Actually, that works perfectly. That'll be a nice story to kind of tie into when they come up with that objection. You know, because I was like, I don't know where to go with this.
Yes.
Hey, Daine, could you say that again? What you say to the wife?
I like to say, so let's say it's Jim and Jane. I say, Jane, why do you want this for Jim? And I've had all kinds of answers to that question. Things like, well, you know, I want him to feel like he's winning. I want him to feel like he's developing. I want him to feel like he's able to get to a point where he can stay home more with us and the family. You know, I don't want something like this to take him away. Like, yeah, sometimes it's money, but oftentimes it's time. Oftentimes the reason people get going in this is because they're like, you know, the spouse is like, I want him to be able to do something that gets him out of his job, out of his work, so he can be, in fact, the person I'm meeting with tonight that I mentioned to you guys that he and his wife had been following us on Facebook for years, and finally just said, Daine, we need to, whatever it is. I've never liked your stuff. I've never commented. I need whatever it is that you have. I need to get into real estate. So we're meeting tonight. I use my wife as my wingman, my wingwoman. I use my wife as my wingwoman these days. And we went to dinner with them all together as, you know, two families basically. And it was cool because my wife goes and talks to her and I go talk to him. And, you know, we have our conversation and they have their conversation. And the whole time, like, she's just saying, like, my husband works so much. Yeah, sure, he makes good money, but he works so much. And so she's like, the reason I want him to get into real estate, and she actually told my wife, she's like, I don't know if he knows this. I'm sure he does, but I want him to get into real estate because it looks like you guys have a lot of fun, lots of family time, and I want my husband more. I want my husband more than I have him right now. And so she's like, that's why I want him to get into real estate investing. They're in, right? They don't even know the name Renatus yet, but they are in because, you know, back to these questions. How long have you been looking? What have you tried? What have you been doing to prepare? I asked them all these questions. And then we even talked, you know, we got into the why. Why do you want this for him? You know, from the spouse. And now, because I met with both of them together on the first meeting, right? Take notes on this, Charles. Because I met with both of them on the first meeting, right? It wasn't like, hey, let's talk the husband into it and then go get the wife. Tougher to do. It is doable. Don't get me wrong. Sold lots of combos. What's the term? I've sold many a combo where I talked the husband into it first, and then we met with the wife later. But if you can bring both of them together from the first meeting, and they both get to know you and they both get to know us from the start, game on. Game on. Okay. So, but yeah, either one works. Just make sure that you do. Like she needs to meet you. She needs to meet us, not just a video, right? So cool. Great questions, guys. Let's see. Let me check comments because they're going to kick us off for the dream call in just a moment. my wing woman. Yes. How much money is he losing in, let's see. How much money is he losing in overrides from you? Oh, many. Yes.
Mitch.
Yes. Cool. Awesome, guys. Love it. Go make things happen. Go have conversations. Let me know next week. I want to hear more stories, right? Go get yourself into a deer in the headlights moment because it is the only way you'll grow. I have had many deer in the headlights moments because I knew that that's what it would take to get to the next level. And if you learn from every experience, then you end up not having the same experience over and over and over and over, right? That's why most people get frustrated, is because they have the same experience over and over and over and over again. But if you learn from every experience, you'll never have the same experience again, ever, right? Just like Charles just said, hey, when that happens, here's what happened. But if Charles changes next time that happens, different. Will be different every time. Awesome, guys. Love you all. Happy Wealth Wednesday. I will see you next week or tomorrow on the Private Money Mastermind. We actually might be discontinuing that one because I promised that we would do it for at least 6 months. And so we might be changing it up a little bit to do some more stuff. We will see though, whatever, if we do discontinue it, it's going to be because it'll be for something better. But I'll see you guys tomorrow or next week. Go have conversations. That's the most important thing that you'll ever do. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much for the love. I'll see you in a week. Peace out.
Thank you, Daine.